Hey Fair Faces, it is Klaireeberry. I just want to talk with you guys today a little bit about Shawn Baker. This guy, I don't even know why I spend my time on ex-vegans and carnivores and zero carb people, because they're so out there that I know a lot of people already know they're crazy. A lot of people know they're being really dumb, and a lot of, really smart people are not going to follow what they're going to say. And the people who are following what they're going to say are, again, so far brainwashed, so far out there, so far just trying to support their own habits with this biased shit that they are not going to listen anyway. And it's one of those situations where if you say anything to them, then they're just going to go, balls to the wall the other direction just to prove you wrong, which I've seen with people that I know. But I still need to speak out, because it just pisses me off when people lie, when people spread misinformation. The thing is because it's so extreme, it's such a good headline for people to put this in the news. You'll see things like Daily Caller, Daily Mail, or whatever start to talk about this. It's obviously just sensationalistic headlines. And that's why it gets views. That's why it's easy to get, article clicks and all of this different stuff. But as far as real life people trying this, again, you gotta be pretty far out there. And it actually pisses me off, especially because he's actually pretty much admitted to targeting vegans, because he thinks that because vegans are so extreme, with our peace, love, and harmony ideas, that we're good candidates for his diet. And I have seen it happen. I've seen a person who I was following on Instagram. You guys might have seen me do a video or two about her. She just completely flipped the switch and decided to go from she was doing high carb, supposedly doing raw till 4, and then went all the way to the other side of being a carnivore. And there's a few things about that. If you look at her food pictures, you could tell she wasn't eating enough, and she claims that she was losing her hair and all this other stuff, but she's also flip-flopped between paleo and vegan and back and forth like a few times now. So just the sheer shock to your system when you're going from extreme system to extreme system can really cause problems. But of course, she's blaming it all on the vegan diet. And then also I saw one, and I posted a video about this, and the picture was her, where it looks like she's 50 years old and anorexic. But that was some kind of Photoshop, because when you go through the time periods on her Instagram, she never looked like that. She never actually looked like that. She's just trying to say she did. So these people link together and they follow each other, and she follows him. That's actually how I heard about Shawn Baker. So let's talk about Shawn Baker specifically a little bit, okay? First and foremost thing you need to know about Shawn Baker, if you don't know, he's the supposed carnivore king. He's only been a carnivore for about a year or maybe 2 years at this point, I think. There's a lot of videos out there about him, obviously. He's got a webpage, he's got YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, even, all of this stuff, and he's very active talking against vegans. And they'll use, again, the most sensationalist headlines. Like recently there was a vegan couple that fed their baby only potato mash or something, and the kid died. And so they're taking that story and making it against vegans, which is crazy, because I could post a million things about meat eating babies dying, or whatever, meat eaters doing this and that. So it's just, and everything, if you look through, you can go through his Instagram, and if you know the logical fallacies, it's like, oh, that one's straw man, oh, that one's, this or that. You can just go through, and it's really obvious. So it's almost humorous if it wasn't like that there's actually real people that do this, okay? So it's funny though, because they're very conspiracy theory minded, and that helps them to pick and choose. And again, if you watch my video that I just did about climate change, I kind of spoke about that, where they don't believe the government, but yet they want to believe the government study on this one thing. It's just like, okay, what are you guys doing here? So like I said, the first thing we need to know about Shawn Baker is that he lost his medical license for basically lying. I forget how they phrase it, but this is not somebody that you want to trust, somebody that lost their medical license, and still calls himself MD all over the internet. So again, that leads to his popularity. Oh, he's a doctor. He's misleading people to let them think that he's still a doctor when he's not. not only, you know, that, but also the way he goes about talking about people, and he'll call vegans idiots all day. Yeah, I do that. Like when I get riled up, you might see me call people like this an idiot in my video, but I don't like walk around acting like that in my posts and my, you know, little shorter little headlines, because that I think is a red flag, and it should be a red flag to people that know that this guy is not ethical. He's sensationalist. When you see respectable professional people talking about issues, that's not how they go about it. That's a logical fallacy in itself to attack people. That's ad hominem. So it's just a big red flags. But again, when you get deeper into all of these things that he's talking about, all of these things, it's very easy to prove him wrong. And one thing that you want to look at is his blood test. Mike the Vegan and Happy Healthy Vegan, Ryan from Happy Healthy Vegan, have both done videos on this. You can clearly see that he has high cholesterol, that according to Shawn Baker's own blood test, he has high cholesterol, and this was after only 15 months on this diet. His LDL was, I think, 150 milligrams per deciliter, and that's like twice what it should be, I believe. You know, and again, if you want more info, you can go look at those two videos. I think, you know, one of them talks about a little bit more, and one of them talks about other things. And he won't release, Shawn Baker will not release the whole thing, but what he does release is still out of range. His blood urea nitrogen, slightly out of range. His testosterone is actually low, which is fucking hilarious, because the myth that people like this spread is that if you eat meat, you have high testosterone. If you're a vegan, you have low testosterone. And from all the studies I've seen, from selective samples like this that I've seen, it's all goes together to show that actually vegans do have higher testosterone. All the vegan blood tests that I've seen the guys have fine testosterone, and his was low. So, okay, so his blood sugar was 127. That is just into the diabetic range. That is a high blood sugar. So how is this man who's only eating meat, literally steaks, the worst possible food for you? It's actually very high insulinogenic. But according to his theories, he should not have high blood sugar because he's not consuming high blood sugar. So his blood tests actually back up vegans. According to him, he should be having regular blood sugars, not high blood sugars, if he's not consuming carbs. He doesn't consume any carbs, apparently. Not that I believe what he says, because, you know, they should, if you're eating this kind of diet, you should get diverticulitis, you should get scurvy, you should get all those different things. So in my estimation, he's probably taking supplements, even though he likes to say that he doesn't. That's the thing. You need to really be careful about who you trust. You can't just be like, oh, this guy's claiming this, so I'm going to trust this, okay? You need to realize this guy is a fraud. He's not even a doctor anymore. Like if he was doing unethical things then, you can better believe that he's doing unethical things now, right? His hemoglobin A1C, 6.3. That's your long-term blood sugars. That's high. His vitamin D is low. Supposedly, that's only supposed to happen to vegans. No, that's bullshit. And he talks about B12 all the time, and the vast majority of people who are deficient in B12 are actually meat eaters. So, you know, it just doesn't make sense. I just want you guys to know a few quick facts about this guy in case you happen to hear about it or see about it. A lot of these people are the people that are all over Twitter, actually posting, you know, vegan stuff about vegans. So there, when you go to Twitter, this is why I love getting on there and really sharing and liking other vegan stuff and following other vegans. If you're not on there, I would definitely recommend it, because like I said, you know, people like this are attacking vegans especially hard right now because of the fact that it's getting so popular. And people like this need to be, you know, just shown. Once you show enough truth, they just disappear. It happens every time. Every other day this happens to me on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter if you're not already there. And just watch out for this guy, because again, if you want to learn about his stance on climate change and all of that, check out one of my last videos about that. And I've got to check my AAA order right now for my son, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. And thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Are there other people like this? I kind of want to start a list, you know, to track these people and see what happens to them over time, because anybody can do a diet for 1 year or whatever, and yeah, probably not going to have that many. It takes a while for these deficiencies and these problems to form. So, you know, these people are following people like Shawn Baker, and it's like, oh, he's fine after a year. It's like, oh, let's base our whole life off this. But there's no long-term studies that support this, none. And the Inuits, they talk about the Inuits all the time, you guys, and the Inuits and the Inuits, the Eskimos, the Maasai, all of that. It's not the same. It's not a high protein diet what they ate. They're not eating cows. They're eating fat, mainly like whale blubber, that actually has vitamin C. It actually has omegas. It actually, I mean, more omegas. It's like totally different diet. So why they would use that to back themselves up doesn't make any sense. And they also eat fruits. They also eat different things. Just like a person I saw the other day using a study that used standard American diet, basically the FDA food pyramid. They were trying to show that showed that meat was okay, when in reality it didn't have anything to do with a low carb diet. So just be really careful. These people like to just look at a headline, like a sensationalist headline, because that's what, you know, gets popularized in the media, is a sensationalist headline. It's not like, oh, fruits and vegetables is news. It's not news, so it's not getting any hits. Okay, but you know what, if you say, oh, alcohol or meat is healthy, that's going to be like, what? You know, that's going to get some hits. So that's where the news comes in, and then people like this just take the news and then they get that study and they take the headline and they run with it. A lot of times, obviously, they're not even reading the studies, because if they do, they'll see that, well, yeah, it does say right here that keto shouldn't be done long term, that it's not safe, hasn't been proven safe. It does show that it's not good, especially for men, to be eating this way, especially in regards to CBD, which is our #1 killer. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Let me know what you think. I will talk to you guys later. Should I do more videos like this or less? I've got a whole playlist. I did one on zero carb years ago, debunking this. Yet people are still, and it just baffles my mind in this day and age that the disinformation is able to get this many people, you know, even if it is, you know, he's only got 25,000 followers or whatever compared to like all these vegans out here. But still, the fact that many people are following him, and probably at least 5,000 of his, like, let's say, if that's his Instagram number, which I think it's around there, like, or Twitter or whatever, like, if that's his number, you know, at least 5,000 are probably just trolling him, for following him just to watch him and see what happens. But like, that's 20,000 people. And again, it's very small in the big context of things, but I just like to talk about it because things like this can get in and have some doubt. You know, it can create just enough confusion to where people throw up their hands and decide not to go vegan at all, or decide not to go plant-based, or decide, you know, not to go vegetarian, because they're like, well, I just don't know what to think anymore. That's like a real phenomenon. So I think it does affect it, even if people aren't going to go that far to be that crazy to do that sort of thing. Because let's face it, you're lacking vitamin C, you're lacking fiber, you're lacking a lot. In fact, I think I'll save that for another video and do it in a completely different video, because I'm already at time here. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.